Hello everyone. If you see my first video for the CDB creation, this is the second part. We're going to be talking about migrate non-CDB to PDB for the RMAN repository database. Right? In the first video, we already did is create one CDB creation. That part is already done. Today we're going to talking about the step B and C, which is first we duplicate one database. Is that duplicated from the RMAN repository database, and then we're going to migrate this duplicated database to the PDB and plug to the CDB. Okay, let's start it. This system will still go into Linux systems, and then the database in this presentation will have three of them. First, called the non-CDB. The non-CDB is the RMAN repository database. It's non-CDB type. It is upgraded from 11G. By now the version is 12.2.0.1. We have a CDB already created last time. The CDB is a root for the PDB. It's the holding PDBs, right? We already have it. The next one we're going to create is the PDB one. That is a non-CDB. Later, it's going to migrate to PDB. Why we're doing this? The reason is we're dealing with the system is a production system. The production systems, we charge minimum the downtime for the production system, RMAN backup. Right? You probably many times you need a restore database, and you need to backup database, backup archive logs during the daytime. In that time, what we do is we do not use this non-CDB, which is RMAN repository database, to do the migration. We keep it. We duplicate one database from the RMAN repository database. These two databases are identical. When they duplicate, it is still non-CDB, right? But non-CDB is RMAN database is still operation, so businesses should know any effect at all. When we created this one, if we were able to migrate PDB successfully, this database we just switch it for RMAN backup. By this way, we can reduce the downtime for the production system. That's the reason why we're doing this. We did this in the test. It has succeeded, and then we put on production. Okay. The next step we're going to introduce you is duplicate this data from RMAN repository database. This is two tasks we're going to talk about. The first one. Now we're talking about the first one. For my practice, generally, is when you do everything before, you better make a backup for it. The first things I'm doing is we try to back up the non-CDB, which is RMAN repository database. In something, if something's wrong, we can get back with this copy. And then another good practice is the backup or inventory. The reason is sometimes if you're not doing it, when you delete some things, you got trouble with the inventory. There's a fixable, but for easy is to just backup it. And then when we need to restore it, we restore the inventory, we delete everything already did, we're done. The third step is for create control file, right? Well, because when we create the PDB one, this one is duplicate the database. We need to create a control file to get it, and then there's some file needed. Those file only needed file, that is the data file. You do not need control file. You do not need log file from the old Karma repository database. You only need a data file. Then you need to create one initial file, which is say initial.ora file. You already know about this if you're working professional. And then PDB1 you can create from the non-CDB, which is RMAN, which is an RMAN repository database. You can create from there, and exactly same thing, no difference, and then just replace to your new PDB1. I called it PDB now, but it's still, until now, it is still non-CDB. Okay. When you got initial file created, and then you got to find your location for your PDB1, where you located, and you copy data files, everything from your RMAN repository database location to your new location. And then you need to also copy the temp files. The next step, when you got everything's ready, right? You already made backup, everything is fine. And then you got to create a control file. Create a control file, you already know. You start database no mount and running this following the script. The script, find this file, you put there, and then this steps will be finished in the 1 second. And then you edit the database, open and reset logs. Do not remember to add your temp files to database 2. Sometimes you forget about it. When we finish this one, it is better. The practice is a backup PDB1 database. The reason is, when we did migration, it could be something's wrong. Migration is not succeeded. You got errors, you're not dealing with it. But for clean way to try it is copy back this database. In this moment, this database we make back up. It is still non-CDB database. And then, of course, if you can, back up your CDB database. When you finish everything, back up. The next step I'm going to explain to you is you need to do some special way to modify your SP file in this PDB database. So far we're using initial file to start it. It's not SP file, and then we got to create one SP file from the P file for PDB1 database. When you got this one in the PDB database, was a PDB1 database, right? By now it's still non-CDB, it's still non-CDB database. What you needed to do is you need to create one file. The generalist file gives you the information about your database. This file is going to use later to be migrated from your non-CDB to the PDB. The way you're doing it, you start a database just executing this command. The file you can put anywhere, it doesn't matter, and then shut down the database. Before we code the SP file, that's why we're going to do it. The reason is, if you see the SP file here, we need to do something change. It's critical. You start it, no mount. When you start it, no mount, the three things you needed to do. You have to enable the Plug database. This we do it everything. Remember, this database is the PDB1. In this moment, it's still non-CDB, but we needed to do 3 things in this database. First, enable Plug database equals true. The second, you set up a DB name to CDB1. Not PDB1. And then you set the instant name to PDB1. When you finish this, everything is in no mount state. You start it first database. Here is output. When you see the output as a step, very easily to change it without any problems, and then no issue, right? When you start force mount, the instance is started. When the instance is started on the no mount state, the next step is to plug the database. Your PDB1 database is a moment is a non-CDB. Plug to your root database, it's a CDB1. You try to hold it, CDB1. How do you do this? First things, you're going to set up an environment to your CDB1, which is your export, your Oracle XID equals to CDB1. When you're done this one, you're pointed to the CDB1 database, and then you start database, log into it, you issue this command, create plug database PDB1 using the file you created. You're running this command in your CDB1 database. Here's the output. It should be tell you the status plug the database created. But however, it just created. It's not really PDB1. It's not really PDB database yet. It's not. The next step you're going to running is using the script. This is provided by Oracle. It's a non-CDB to PDB. This is script. You're running this script in CDB1. So you still log in the CDB1, which is your container database, to running this one. Here is the step. You log in CDB1 first, and then you need to set up the container, a session, to PDB1. When you set up this to PDB1, you're running this script. This script is long running, take a quite long time, just like you did the upgrade database. And then you can see a lot information on your screen until you see something. I just pick up some of the last several, like 100 lines here. You can see something like this, and then the script is finished. The next one is the open PDB1. This time, the PDB1 database already the PDB type database. And then you do same thing. If the session set container is to PDB1, you log in off. Environment is still set up a CDB1. You log in the CDB and your session to PDB1. When you start it, of course, the database already started. Right? So you can check your PDB from the view, PDB, and then it shows you the PDB1 is already read-write. That is the PDB database. The next one, we're going to test the connection to RMAN database. In order to do this one is a pretty good way for workload setup, but there is no big deal. So you set TNS entry in tns.ra file, just exactly like your setup in non-CDB, exactly the same, no difference. Yeah. When you set up this way, I can run in connection to the database, right? What happened? I got error, but that's no big deal. The error, RMAN error, it said it's something wrong. You cannot connect to database because the database in restriction letter, restriction, say session, this kind of information. So the solution for it is very easy. You just say log in your PDB. You see, log in DB. How to do it? You get in the CDB first, right? Have the session set container equals this one. Set it to see the database from the VPDMS view. Yeah, database ID, everything is up. Fine. It's open. So read and write. looks fine. But when you select from instance, you'll find, yeah, it is on status restrict. That's why you have special privilege to be able to connect to it. For open to public, it's very easy. You just say the first one, you close the database, PDB one, and then you open it. You check it again, the status became allowed. Used to be restricted, but now it's allowed. In this time, I did another RMAN test. Connect to PDB one. You can see the message. Connect to recover catalog database. Succeeded. Okay. So this project already finished, but now it's working. So the presentation for today is finished. Thanks for listening. Bye.